Tonight on Grady Newsource, as Georgia's early voting turnouts continue to smash records, we'll take you live to Barrow County to see the long lines.
I have to beg for a 5-minute bathroom break. We have to hope that the line will break.
Then, how a new UGA shuttle service provides an affordable alternative for students going home for the holidays. And finally, how voting for a hay bill can help extra special people in Watkinsville. All that and more coming up on Grady Newsource.
This is Northeast Georgia's only local source for TV news. From the Grady College at the University of Georgia, this is Grady Newsource.
Well, Ryan, the office actually just closed at 5 p.m., but there are still some people trickling out because if you got in line before 5 p.m., you were allowed to go ahead and vote. Now, when I was here yesterday, the line was all the way back to this yellow tape, and cars were so full in this parking lot that they were lined out to the road to try and get a parking spot. I talked to poll worker Misty Harden, and she told me that early voting turnout is the craziest she's ever seen it.
I have to beg for a 5-minute bathroom break. I mean, we have to hope that the line will break so that we have time to go grab a sip of water or use the restroom.
Lines out the door and cars crammed in the parking lot. It's a record-breaking early voting season in Barrow County as citizens rush to the polls.
One of the first days I worked, we had over 1,600 voters in one day. So, I mean, that's just crazy to me.
83,000 people live in Barrow. As of yesterday, 24,000 of those people have already voted.
It's unreal comparing it to the primaries. The numbers are staggering.
Harden says that during the primaries, they only had around 300 people show up, whereas during this election, 1,600 votes were cast on Tuesday between absentee ballots and in-person voting. Sophie Smith went to early vote, and she says she went early to avoid the crowds. But that wasn't the case.
Even for it being 10 a.m., there were a lot of people in line. I probably waited in line like 15, and then once I got in the building, waited another 5, voted, and then took a little bit to get out.
Harden says it may be busy, but she's happy to see people getting out and using their right to vote.
I get sentimental. I mean, I love our nation. I love our flag. And just to know that people care.
Harden also told me that because of how much turnout they've seen in early voting, they're actually expecting it to be calmer on November 5th compared to past elections. Back to you, Ryan.
Thanks, Elizabeth. We apologize for the technical difficulties in the beginning of the show. In the battleground state of Georgia, both candidates are focusing much of their final energy here. Grady Newsource reporter Elizabeth Rice shows us what the polls are looking like and what the campaigns are doing to get your vote. Elizabeth, what do the polls say?
Thank you, Ryan. Well, in the latest poll from the University of Georgia School of Public Policy Research shows that Trump has 47% of the Georgia vote, while Harris has 43%. I spoke with Dr. Trey Hood, the researcher behind UGA's 2024 general election poll, about the context that the polls provide.
They're all within the margin of error, meaning we can't really tell who's ahead and who's behind. Trump hasn't broken out, Harris hasn't broken out.
In 2020, Georgia flipped blue, and President Biden won the popular vote by less than 12,000 votes. Dr. Alexa Bankert, an elections researcher at UGA, gives insight into what these two presidential campaigns need to focus on in the next 6 days.
Mobilizing the base, because I think at this point the election is so close, it is so tight, it'll basically come down to whether you are able to maximize the voting power.
Bankert says these campaigns are targeting 3 key demographics in Georgia. It's the urban voters, young voters, and people of color that these campaigns are concerned about. Both campaigns are focusing on these 3 emerging voting blocks, which can truly swing this election. But just remember, in the end, the results aren't determined by the polls, but by the people who turn out and vote. So stay tuned next week for our coverage on the election and its results here at Grady Newsource. I'm Elizabeth Rice. Back to you, Ryan.
A local program is breaking down barriers to physical activity for students with special needs. Grady Newsource reporter Keisha Chestnut tells us how one business is making movement and creativity accessible for all.
Physical activity isn't always easy for everyone, but especially for children with disabilities. A CDC study suggests about 43% of parents say that their children simply aren't interested, while another 33% report a shortage of programs designed for children with special needs. Ann Woodruff leads Canopy Studios wants to make physical activity both fun and accessible.
We see the aerial work and serving the students with disabilities as just an extension of being good community stewards and making sure that everyone is included.
AdFest Educates, a nonprofit, awarded a grant to Canopy Studios to fund adaptive PE field trips for Clark County School District special education students. Mary Joyce, executive director of AdFest Educates, says students don't always have access to adaptive PE.
Having those students, seeing them in there, getting to explore, move their bodies around, connect, hearing from the teachers about how impactful it is.
Canopy Studios aims to give these students the ability to express themselves creatively while staying active.
It's more than just an activity where somebody is swinging around and having fun. They are practicing skills and moving through the environment that is going to give them continued health and access for the long term.
For Canopy, it doesn't just stop as children. They look to provide access to a lifelong physical health for people with special needs as well. Keisha Chestnut, Grady Newsource.
Every year, traveling home for the holidays can be a hassle for UGA's out-of-state students. Grady Newsource reporter Ethan Wright tells us about how UGA student government is working to ease that burden.
As the holiday season approaches for University of Georgia students, clicking your heels 3 times unfortunately won't get you to Kansas.
I'm traveling to New Jersey.
This year, the University of Georgia is giving out-of-state students what could be their ticket 65 miles closer to home.
It's definitely cheaper than trying to Uber or anything like that.
UGA's student government has teamed up with transportation services to provide holiday shuttles for out-of-state students flying home for Thanksgiving break. The SGA president says the main goal is to improve campus affordability for out-of-state students who make up 20% of the university's population.
I mean, it's tough to be a student right now, and I feel like it's more and more expensive to live, and especially if you live off campus.
With the help of Groom Transportation and Light Shuttle, the service will take students to Hartsfield-Jackson Airport, not only helping reduce travel expenses, but lowering planning stress.
They'll get you there on time, they'll get you to the right gate. It's really, you don't really have to think about much, you just kind of get in the car and go.
Before students start packing their bags, they can check their eligibility on the University Transportation website. Discounted rates are first come, first served though, so they may not want to take too long.
One of the big things was improving campus affordability. I mean, it's tough to be a student right now, and I feel like it's more and more expensive to live, and especially if you live off campus. I mean, it's incredibly hard, and so we're trying to improve areas where we can.
From Athens, Ethan Wright, Grady Newsource.
Dia de los Muertos, or the Mexican Day of the Dead, is an international holiday dedicated to remembering those who have passed. Grady Newsource reporter Melanie Levy has more on an Athens woman who is celebrating her own way.
People who celebrate Dia de los Muertos often put together an ofrenda, which is an elaborate altar that serves as a tribute to the dead. For Sandra Sanchez, the holiday is about reconnecting with her loved ones' souls.
Un día festivo, es mi cultura, es con lo que yo crecí.
She says it's more than a festive day. It's my culture, and it's a day for the people who are no longer with us to be with us in spirit. The holiday is celebrated by Hispanic people worldwide, with everyone's altars looking a bit different. Sanchez's ofrenda includes several photos of her relatives. She places items that they cherished on the table, including a pack of cigarettes and a beer bottle for her uncle, and an apron for her grandmother who loved to cook. Her daughter Michelle dresses as a skeleton, also known as La Calavera, which is a widely recognized figure that represents the holiday and symbolizes the beauty in death.
Ella es la cuarta generación de mi familia.
Sanchez says she hopes that her daughter, her granddaughter, and the generations that follow them will continue the ofrenda tradition, always paying respect to the family who came before them. Grady Newsource, Melanie Levy.
Do you have an old coat? After the break, Grady Newsource reporter Christian Andrade will show you how you can put it to good use.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back. Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
My Shiro doesn't always wear a cape, but she always has time for a hug, a smile, for going the extra mile. My Shiro stretches every dollar, puts in long hours, puts others first. But now it's your time, Mom. When you're ready to retire, we want you to be able to enjoy it. It's time to start saving now. A free 3-minute online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to start boosting your retirement savings today. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
1 in 5 families in Athens-Clarke County are living in poverty. As cold weather approaches, Grady Newsource reporter Christian Andrade shows us how you can help children living in poverty stay warm.
It's probably the best thing I've ever done, I think, in my life.
John Steffel runs Coats for Kids at St. Joseph's Catholic Church in Athens.
It goes back to the charity of the Knights of Columbus.
Coats for Kids is a global initiative run by the Knights of Columbus. They give coats and space heaters to families in need. Last year, they gave away their millionth coat.
You put a coat on them, and they smile, and you know they're going to be warm this winter.
2 in 5 children in America are considered clothing insecure. On top of that, Athens-Clarke County's poverty rate is nearly double the national average.
I saw a lot of kids who were in school that couldn't even afford ramen.
Older John Steffel is younger John Steffel's dad. He says when he got back to Barrow County after the Vietnam War, he saw families struggling.
I wanted to be able to help those people who are really trying.
Now, Steffel handles a lot of the transportation for Coats for Kids in Athens and Barrow.
Because I have a big truck, I'm retired, so I don't have a job.
If you donate your coats to a thrift store, they might just end up with someone like me. Now, I don't really need a coat, but if you want to give one to someone who does, you could give it to Coats for Kids.
We have a lot of families in need.
Sister Wenchi Dane collects donations for Coats for Kids at the University of Georgia Catholic Center. She said anyone who needs a coat could get one, as long as they show up to get it.
The kids have to be present because we love for the kids to pick their own style, their own color, and they'll treasure it.
Sister Wenchi and the Knights are taking donations for the rest of the season.
They wear it with pride, and I love seeing them wear it throughout the winter.
Christian Andrade, Grady Newsource.
Thanks, Christian. While the big donation for Coats for Kids is November 9th, the Knights of Columbus will continue distributing free coats and space heaters until spring. Many families are still grappling with the aftermath of Hurricane Helene. Grady Newsource reporter Savannah Hernandez has the latest on how UGA's Swap Shop is stepping up to assist those in North Carolina as winter approaches.
As temperatures drop, a UGA effort is heating up. A winter clothing drive is hoping to bring warmth and relief to families in North Carolina still recovering from Hurricane Helene. Levi Ellington, the drive's organizer, says there's an urgent need for essentials as winter gets closer.
Actually, when you look at the population of UGA students, there is
excess, something very simple that creates a big impact.
For some, the devastation hits close to home. Brittany Gould is a marine sciences PhD student from Asheville who's helping collect and transport items to Western North Carolina.
I got off very lucky, but I mean, the cross-country coach from my high school lost 11 people of his family.
The joint effort by UGA Swap Shop, Tate Society, and the Office of Sustainability brings people together to make a meaningful impact.
I've felt like it was part of me that still remained in Asheville, and I need to help my people. Any help is better than no help, and if not me, then who?
The drive is collecting reusable water bottles, clothes, and other winter necessities. The North Carolina Governor's Office estimates Hurricane Helene caused around $53.6 billion in damage.
It's just absolutely amazing to see the community feeling from UGA, despite having no relations to North Carolina themselves, just to support me and the community in North Carolina.
The supplies will go to distribution centers in North Carolina. Dana Theoch, the executive director of Swap Shop, says showing support doesn't have to mean large monetary donations.
We have students here at UGA who are a part of communities that were totally devastated, and we want to show them that we care about them.
The drive will be accepting donations until this Monday, November 4th. You can drop off your items at the bin located on the second floor of the Miller Learning Center.
If you think it's such a small amount, it will help.
Now, we turn to Normal Bar, which is lending a helping hand to more relief efforts for Hurricane Helene through comedy.
I think when tragedy happens, right, you just want to shut down. And I feel like comedy is this kind of thing that can always be like, I'd rather laugh than cry. So why don't we get people here laughing?
For most, comedy is used for relief and laughter, but it can be also used to raise awareness for serious world issues. Just 31 days ago, tragedy struck with Hurricane Helene. Communities are still suffering and coping with their loss.
I know that it's just, people's lives are changed and it's going to be such a long road for them. So I've actually been trying to figure out ways to help.
Mackenzie Manier decided to host her first-time comedy show to raise awareness for the hurricane relief.
They're like our neighbors. I think I just really wanted to give back to that spot.
After 5 stand-up comedians performed, by the end of the night, the event raised $243 towards an organization called Beloved Asheville. Certain parts of Asheville still can't drink water from the tap, distribution sites are still collecting food, and the city is posting daily updates on supplies, donation sites, and more. Currently, Beloved Asheville is focusing on the critical needs like food, water, and building supplies to help.
They've been doing great work in Asheville, very much focused on building from what Asheville needs.
Even first-time comedy goers came out for this reason.
Because I was like, if I'm going to pay money to go somewhere, I'd love for it to go towards a good cause.
The road to recovery for cities like Asheville are far from over.
So to be able to support in this creative way is great.
Sarah Sims, Grady Newsource.
After the break, weather anchor Riley Kehoe will give us the 5-day forecast. Stay tuned.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
You're home before sunrise, on top of the house, the kids, and our future. The smell of your cooking is our alarm clock. My Shiro's day is never done. So let's start saving a little more now so we can feel prepared for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give us the personalized tips we need so we can live our lives to the fullest. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
Julie was always a voracious reader. She'd carry 2 novels on an airplane because she'd read one on a 3-4 hour ride. And at some point, I began to notice that she would read a page and couldn't remember what she had just read, and she'd have to go back and read it again.
I don't remember much these days after I read, but less does for me, and I love it.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight. Both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand, trying to text somebody back. Because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
Looking ahead, the sunshine sticks around. Thursday and Friday will be warm, with highs in the upper 70s to low 80s, and nighttime temps dipping to the high 50s and low 60s. Perfect for an evening stroll or some patio dining. And the weekend, it's going to be wonderful. Saturday brings a high of 81 with a low of 60, and Sunday cools down just a bit with a high of 76 and a low around 58. That's your weather update for tonight. Oh, and before I go, a very special happy birthday to our sports anchor. We love you here at Grady Newsource. We hope you have the greatest 23rd birthday ever. Coming up after the break, sports anchor Nigel Whittington will give you the rundown of all things Georgia sports.
Yeah.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
I finally found.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Mason.
Hey, Mason.
Got a new house. It's looking pretty cool so far. A place that I call home.
I'm teaching Louise how to cook some lasagna.
It only takes a spark to make a fire start.
The Dutch. Thank you.
Study, please.
I think I finally found a place to make my own. A place that I call home. This place that I call home.
Your home before sunrise. On top of the house, the kids, and our future. The smell of your cooking is our alarm clock. My Shiro's day is never done. So let's start saving a little more now so we can feel prepared for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give us the personalized tips we need so we can live our lives to the fullest. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
What's up, guys? I'm Nigel Whittington, back with sports. After the bye week, the Georgia football team is back in action this Saturday, well rested and ready to go against the Florida Gators in the annual rivalry game. Now, I could tell you all about it, but I got some help from a very special guest to talk about the conference matchup. So, big game this week, Florida, Georgia. You guys are heading down to Jacksonville. How are you guys preparing for that?
Yeah, we just been working on just the little things. We know it's a big game for us, a very physical game, so we've just been working on a lot of physicality when it comes to tackling or blocking. You know what I mean, doing your assignments and things of that nature.
Tell me a little bit about your favorite memories in the Georgia-Florida rivalry.
Man, I got a lot of big memories, man. My freshman year, we played Florida in Jacksonville, and I just remember Lewis Sean coming across the middle and just wham, and I was that was one of my favorite because at the time we were down, Florida had the upper hand. And that play alone, even though he got ejected, and Cobb, he's got seriously injured bad on the field, it was just an electric feeling for us. We just needed that energy on the field.
Stackhouse and the rest of the Bulldogs are going to travel to Jacksonville with a scheduled 3:30 p.m. kickoff. Coming up next, Grady Newsource reporter Juliana Russ tells us about how hay bales are being used for a good cause.
During high school, I hung with the wrong crowd, and I never graduated.
I helped Santiago in many different ways, like all fathers do, because he always wanted to go to college.
I felt a little embarrassed to come back to school, but eventually, once I came here, I knew that it's for a bigger goal.
He was very dedicated, hardworking. He connected with his teachers. He connected with other students. That was one of the key reasons why he was able to keep forging ahead.
It was amazing to see him graduate. This was one thing that meant so much to him, and of course, it meant so much to us too.
With the help of my father and having my son, that was all the motivation that I needed. That support is everything.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
I think I finally found.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Mason.
Hey, Mason.
Got a new house. It's looking pretty cool so far.
A place that I call home.
I'm teaching Louise how to cook some lasagna.
It only takes a spark to make a fire start.
Thank you.
Study, please.
I think I finally found a place to make my own. A place that I call home. This place that I call home.
Extra Special People in Watkinsville provides transformative experiences for people with disabilities. Stripling's General Store in Bogart hosts an annual hay bale decoration contest to fundraise in support of their mission. Juliana Russ has more.
Our students love doing the hay bale. It's something we look forward to every year.
Stripling's annual hay bale decorating contest is heating up in Oconee County. Schools, sheriff's departments, and local businesses are competing to earn the most votes and the most dollars to support Extra Special People in Watkinsville, which serves as a hub for people with disabilities and their families.
So our owners have a really great relationship with ESP, and they are very passionate about that organization, everything that they do.
They cast their ballot with a monetary donation as a donation to ESP, and the hay bale with the most donation/votes wins.
Deutsch says the contest usually raises around $5,000.
It costs about $1,000 per person for a week of summer camp. That's 5 individuals who got to go to summer camp because of that, which is amazing.
The community members decorating these hay bales are taking the job very seriously.
It's the other sheriff's office that's competing. They actually stole our Woody.
Yeah, we're competitive. We really are, but this is for ESP, and it's a really great organization. It really helps families in our community, like a community.
This year, Dean Weaver Realty's Potato Head hay bale has become a fan favorite.
Kids were just kind of pouring in, and they were asking, like, who is it? A lot of people said Minions, and I was hurt at first. I was like, all right, let us put the mustache on, the ears, it'll make sense.
You can vote via Venmo or in store. $1 equals 1 vote.
Every dollar, every penny is donated completely to ESP.
Voting closes tomorrow, October 31st, and winners will be announced after that.
It's great to have everybody go out there and give their all so that we end up with a bunch of really, really cool designs that it really brings a lot of attention to what they're trying to do.
Juliana Russ, Grady Newsource.
Well, that's all we have for tonight. I'm Ryan Lynch, and we'll see you next week.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
My Shiro doesn't always wear a cape, but she always has time for a hug, a smile, for going the extra mile. My Shiro stretches every dollar, puts in long hours, puts others first. But now it's your time, Mom. When you're ready to retire, we want you to be able to enjoy it. It's time to start saving now. A free 3-minute online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to start boosting your retirement savings today. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
Would you like to take a seat?
Yeah, let me get my stuff out your way.
That's okay.
I'll be wherever I need to be.
And do you want to tuck this?
Snake it behind me.
It's got a clip, yeah. All right, we are live. Lots of excitement in our wonderful newsroom. We have our department head, Dr. Jonathan Peters, who watched the show, joining us now to share a few thoughts about things. And we also have a birthday boy today. We tried to surprise him. We kept that conspiracy all day. And finally, because he's too inquisitive and observant, he read the script as Riley was practicing it, and he found out about his surprise. But he still looked surprised.
Good acting.
So, yeah. So well done on that, and happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, Dr. Peters, would you like to share a few thoughts with us, and we'll take it from there.
Happy to do that, yes. And the preface is that I will share thoughts. They will not be expert thoughts because I'm not a video journalist or broadcaster. So I am much more like the person who would be in your audience than I am somebody who's normally in a production studio. So first thing I would say, other than happy birthday to Nigel, which is the most significant event of today, it is that I give you all a lot of credit for the difficulty of what you do because I've been in and out of TV stations and radio stations enough to know that this is not an inherently easy job. This is really hard what you do because there are a lot of moving parts to any successful broadcast. This is, I think, one of the reasons why I have never been naturally gifted when I am on camera. And it is simply because there are so many bells and whistles that I get distracted, and so it is really cool to hang out in the back of the control room and watch you all kind of lock in and just do your jobs, whether you're there or in the stand-ups that you did out and about in the community. So I just want to start out by saying a lot of credit to you because this is hard work. The other point that I want to make is a little bit more poetic and philosophical, and it is speaking to the importance democratically of what you do. And it is that whether you're doing community journalism or if you're anchoring CNN International, you are importantly and essentially serving a community that needs to be informed about all manner of things. Elections, yes, that goes without saying. But there were a number of hits tonight, stories tonight, that were about interesting, cool projects going on in the community to the benefit of kids who need coats, for example. So I think that's great. That's good enterprise reporting. Keep doing that. Keep serving the communities that rely upon your reporting. Let's see. The other thing that I would mention is that in any form of journalism, whether you're doing it as a student or 15, 25 years from now as a professional, you are going to have little technical difficulties. There are going to be mistakes, whether it's audio, video, both, or of course, worst case scenario, you make a mistake in a story, substantively. A source gets something wrong. You rely in good faith in the source, etc. On the technical stuff, like the couple of little audio glitches this evening, as is the case for any of you who have ever played golf, the only way you can be a semi-successful golfer is to leave that bad shot behind you and just move on to the next one and just keep swinging, keep playing. So the mistakes tonight, note them, learn from them, and then just move on from them. Do not let that ruin the rest of the round. Let's see, the other comment that I would make, I was just curious about this. The older John Steffel as contrasted with the younger John Steffel.
Yeah, so he actually told me, he was like, the older John Steffel told me the younger John Steffel was mad when people say junior and senior.
I love it.
Yeah, so older John Steffel told me that younger John Steffel gets mad about junior and senior, and they do have different middle names. So they're not actual
I love it.
Junior, so he said we refer to each other as older John Steffel.
It reminded me of like Pliny the Elder and Pliny the Younger from philosophy, or in my dad's case, his dad was Big Tom, my dad was Little Tom. So at any rate, I just wanted to bring that to the fore so we'd have some discussion of older and younger John Steffel. Let's see, the other thing, I just wanted to ask about this because I know that there was stuff going on behind the scenes that I didn't get to see on digital and social. What was happening there? I think you had mentioned it was some major electric day that you were having, so.
So we did make 20 posts today.
Yeah.
I'm pretty proud of that. I was the digital producer and Colin was the digital content creator. Yeah, I think I had the most fun that I've had this whole semester with this job. It was really awesome to get to see all of your content and to repurpose it in different ways. So you want to show us some of it? Yeah.
Please.
Sure. If I can figure out how to connect this.
You'll have to mirror.
Oh, I did the wrong one.
Yeah.
It's this one.
And then you have to turn on the Apple TV. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
Give me a second.
Speaking is all I can do.
It's like trying to connect to two. So once it lets me control
Oh, you can see, so I turned to like click my graphics on the screen and that's all I saw was there right now. But I'm not turning it on.
It's not a preview. Alright, so we can start with our Instagram. So we did these 6 feed posts today, starting with Juliana. So all the hay bales, super fun time.
Cute.
Yes, and then we have Ryan's Grady Daily. I don't know, can you hear it?
Okay, loud. Oh gosh, wow.
Awesome.
Those are all my friends, guys.
She looks great. And then we have, which one is this? Early voting. So yeah, Colin made this graphic.
Graphic Q.
I like copied it from somewhere else on camera. I can't take all the credit.
Yeah. So then we posted this one on the story too. But other feed posts, we have the Q&A from Nigel. And then this one like just went up from the comedy show. So awesome. And then my favorite thing was our stories today.
Who are they?
Can you hear it?
Get the
Can you,
sound
turn it
going.
up?
Yeah.
Up top. No, it's muted up top.
Like your Instagram.
University of Georgia plans to give out-of-state students.
Hang on.
As the holiday season quickly approaches for UGA students, clicking your heels 3 times unfortunately won't get you back to Kansas. But you can tune in at 5 to see how the University of Georgia plans to give out-of-state students what could be their ticket home. See you soon.
I like it.
Okay, and then that graphic. And then we posted this poll, which it's actually tied 50-50 right now. Between
Professor V, how are you feeling about today's show?
I'm feeling great. We've got some great stories for all of you, and we have a huge surprise, but you've got to watch the show.
Always paying respect to the family before that. Grady Newsource, Melanie Levin.
Do you have an old coat?
That was so cool for our viewers to see that, Kira runs the show. And then we just recorded this.
That's so cute.
And so thank you guys for all your help. We also made a bunch of Facebook posts. So all of the stories that were on Instagram were also on Facebook stories. And then we had, again, Nigel's, and then Sarah's comedy story, and Ethan's full package, and Juliana's full package on Facebook. So this one, like it says, went out 2 minutes ago. So we scheduled those for during the show. And then we also made a couple of tweets about voting. So, yeah. Colin, do you have anything you want to say?
I don't have to say too much. Yeah, I agree. Today was a lot of fun. I really appreciate everyone's, being willing to send things into us. That made our job so much easier. Yeah, I mean, Sydney just led the way, and I helped any way I could. Writing captions, graphics, things like that. It was a lot of fun. I'm glad we got to show off everything too. I think we should definitely start doing that more. But yeah, that's really it. Pass it over to Tori.
Yeah, I thought everybody did a really great job today. We had great packages across the board. Jackson, I'm sorry. I didn't want to do it. I had to. I'm sorry. But we did good on timing, even though we were a little bit over going into it. And if I fuss at you about timing, I'm also sorry about that. But y'all did a really good job, and I felt like it was a really complete show. And I want to shout out our anchor for handling those tech issues very well. You weren't phased at all. I was in your ear telling you to apologize and all of that, but you just took it like a pro, and you did it.
Definitely agree, and I agree with Dr. Peters saying that when things go wrong, and with Lizzie too, I know how hard she practiced, but that's when you learn, and nothing else can scare you because you've handled these situations. Plus, for a future employer, you can actually show how you handle, how you perform under stress. That's really important for a future employer to see, because you'll be handling, as Dr. Peters said, a lot of stress, and you've got to pivot. So I'm really proud of you, all of you. I did a great job. Even when, we gave away our surprise, you still pulled it off, and we're very happy that we were able to celebrate your birthday, and sorry for singing happy birthday this morning. So.
I would have been disappointed if you did.
So any other thoughts that you want to share?
Not really. I think just
you always share some great, stories from when you were a journalist, and if you want to share a few.
I was thinking of a technical glitch. This was, Lizzie, when you were kind of scrambling in front of the screen, and it reminded me of, I think it was NBC News. I was commenting on some legal issue, and they told me that they were going to cue me visually. And so they put me in what amounted to like a virtual green room. And the problem was they blanked out my screen. And so I could not see anything. So whatever visual cue they were giving me, I was quietly whispering into seemingly nothingness that I cannot see a damn thing. And they didn't have my audio cued either, so I could not hear anyone saying John, please speak. Yeah. And so I just wondered
totally
am I,
dark,
yes,
literally.
Completely, yeah, and without audio. And so I just sat there thinking, I hope I'm not on national television right now, just staring blankly into a screen. And unfortunately, somebody on their end, I think at the 11th hour, figured it out, immediately got in my ear and gave me the 3 count. And I was like, okay, we're cool. So you do the best you can. You tap dance around it. And I thought you did very well. Yeah, so don't sweat that. Again, like the golf analogies, move on to the next shot. Yeah. Yes, you all did terrific. Any other questions or comments from you guys about your experiences? Any of the stand-up people who are out and about have notable or noteworthy experiences? Oh, okay.
Yeah, Elizabeth is Barrow County all the way.
Yeah, that's
in
right.
Barrow
And she
County.
wouldn't be back. Yeah. All right.
No thoughts. They're tired. To see how much I tortured them. They're
That's
all
right.
tired.
Yes.
Like,
That's what I demand.
yeah, I have to listen to my boss.
That's right.
You know,
These are my
he
wishes.
says
There can be no fun around here. Are you kidding me?
No. Yeah, but they've been a great group. I would say, if not the most talented, one of the most talented group, just a lot of talent, both in front of the camera, right? And I'm not just, I mean, they didn't pay me to say that.
Okay.
Just a little bit,
Yeah.
just a little bit. But
that's right.
Yeah. Maybe you can play. You can pay me in Play-Dohs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, I got
yes.
first month deposit.
Down payment.
No,
Yeah, I have this. I think it's funny, and they have to go along with it. But I came up with these Play-Dohs for creativity or for stress relief. And so if somebody comes up with something really creative, I go to my office and I give them a
hit him with some Play-Doh. I like it. That explains all of the Play-Doh expenses that keep coming into the department account.
Actually, I
I
spent
get
it from my own
I haven't seen
salary,
one of those. We
actually.
need to
Yes.
change that. You should expense that. Yeah, it would not be the weirdest thing I've expensed. I promise you.
I know. Yeah, but that's how we have a little bit of fun.
Yeah, I'll allow a little
Even
bit.
though they're exhausted,
a very
as you
small
can
amount.
see. Yes, yes.
Anyone?
I'm speaking for the masses here.
What was the question?
Parking for the next 2 weeks.
Oh, parking for the next 2 weeks. Oh, goodness. I gotta. Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate
Mhm.
it.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Yep.
We ran out, and I emailed Sophie, and maybe you haven't gotten that.
No, that hasn't been forwarded to me yet.
Yeah.
Do you know when that was sent up?
When you set it up last time, I'll look at the emails.
Okay.
The last time I
Okay.
got the,
Yeah. Touch base with me. Yeah. I haven't seen that yet.
Exactly the email.
Okay. Please. Yeah. That works. Yeah.
Really, this is extremely generous of you to do that, and we really appreciate
Well,
it.
you flag that email and I'll take a look at it. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep. Anytime. Any other comments,
Any
questions?
other requests?
Anyone else want to be on digital?
No, of course. Thank you for hosting me. I appreciate that. Yeah.
She wants Ryan to ask. Yeah, she's
On the spot.
She has the best questions, Ryan, always.
Okay.
She always says, I think this is a stupid question, and then she
However.
So if Ryan...
There it is. She's delivering.
I'm delivering. Are we voting on the? Can we vote on the final show or the second to last show? Okay, can I propose an idea?
Oh, yeah.
Let's have an idea.
Ideas.
I had an idea for the final show. But y'all can say no. Like, y'all can definitely say no. But y'all know I have my visions. I had a vision.
Democracy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Wait, I also have an idea. But Christian, go first.
Let's hear it.
Okay, I have an idea. Y'all can say no, but this was just one of my visions. But I want to do this regardless, but I feel like it would be cool to do, like, superlatives for the class.
You
like,
took my
have
idea. That was my idea.
I didn't take your idea. No, but anyway, no. I'm gonna double my idea. That's the first part. We're gonna have so the last show is Wednesday, right? We could do like the superlative show like Monday night or something like that, and we film it all. And then the last show is all packages and whatnot having to do with the superlatives. So like, let's say whoever got best package, like someone does a package on them. How did the behind the scenes that went behind making the package? Whoever won like best sojo will intro that with like an anchor reader explaining what the sojo assignment is, and then go into the package about the best sojo where they interviewed all the people who did like the sojo. Like each, yeah, behind the scenes of kind of the superlatives.
How did you make this amazing piece of work?
Basically, like what
Yeah,
you did that earned
yeah,
you.
yeah, and I want to do that because that's sort of like you
I like
said,
that.
you said we kind of got to show out. I feel like that's such a flex. Like just show your best work. How did you make your best work? You know what I mean? Like, yeah. And then that way we just all could interview each other. There's you don't got to reach out and yeah.
I like it.
Sources.
Well, no, Christian's idea was basically mine. I wanted to do like paper plate awards. Mine were like a little goofier, like more about like our personalities and stuff. But his is like, obviously a little more structured than mine. But I had a similar idea, so I'm liking that. I'm liking that.
Paper plate.
We could maybe hand out the paper plates too, so we could write them down. Okay. Yeah.
Are you thinking about it? Lovely.
I have a question about the. I hate to be. I sound like a Debbie Downer, but I have a question about the logistics of it. Like, who assigns us the superlatives?
Yeah, we're gonna have to do a vote. That's
We can do like Professor V.
Yeah, we're gonna do.
Yeah, let's do anonymous Google form.
An anonymous Google thing.
But then it's like, what if you end up with nothing? So I feel
Yeah.
like Professor V should be the one in charge of dedicating. She knows us all the best, I feel like.
Hey! She picks. Yeah, because we gotta have.
Then you choose the winner.
We're gonna have like a bunch of superlatives. We gotta have at least one.
I love all my children, so I can't choose between you, and you will have to. How about you self-nominate your best package, and we vote on what you think is your best work with the best behind-the-scenes story. That seems more fair than me. I'm not comfortable with that.
I want to do other ones like producer who did the best job. Producing, who did the best job.
Yes.
Like weather,
Self-nominate.
stuff like that.
Yeah, self-nominate, and something with the best, like maybe if you produced, then you produced the show with the worst show, with a lot of, things that went wrong, and yet you survived, and how you did it, yeah. Or you could do your best show, but I think the worst show would be more interesting and show off, what you're made of. So how about you guys self-select your best piece of work with whether it's, but we'll also have to, like if all of you submit packages, then we'll have to ask somebody to do the producer, the digital producer, the TV producer, so we have each role. Yeah, so think about it, yeah. However, let's take a vote. Do all of you want to do that? How many want to do?
Some of us don't want to self-nominate.
Okay.
Wait, I have an idea. It's a kind of like an in-between. Maybe, couldn't we just do where Professor V creates like a Google sheet of like, how many are there? 18 of us? 18 superlatives, right? You can create the superlatives, but then the class votes on it, if that makes sense.
But what
so
if-
you create the superlatives, but then, so it's like a democratic process, we can all vote on it.
I'll create the categories, best.
Like best anchor, best
Best
sports anchor,
anchor.
best
Best
package.
political coverage, best human story coverage,
Best live shot.
Yeah, best.
Okay, you guys are
stand-up.
going to create it because there you go. I'm hearing
We
it
got a
from
whiteboard.
you.
We can put 18 things down right now.
Yeah.
I mean, but we would have to probably give multiple choice for that, and that make sure everyone at least could get something so they're actually writing in, and like somebody could get.
No, we can do multiple choice. That would be easy through Google form. We just put all of our 18 names.
Yeah. What if we just made it a one person nominate myself?
We just put it all in one box. We just follow one person. All
Best person in our class.
It's like there's like people in their room as they
Okay,
wake up.
I'll create a Google.
From 9 to 5.
Okay, I will create a Google script, and each one of you put in a category, and I will moderate that. I mean, I will edit it, and I will streamline it to make it into 18 categories. But I want the ideas to come from you. And then once I've created those categories. Each one of you will put your, your vote in for not your vote, but your content that you want to nominate to. I'm making this up as the thing that, like, if Sarah, for example, if you want the best education piece or whatever, then you put in one of your pieces that you did that you thought was the best, or the best solutions journalism story. You put your best solutions journalism story, and people will vote on each category, and that's how we have a winner in each category. How about that?
Sounds good.
Yeah. And best anchoring, best sports anchor, best producer, best TV producer, best, yeah. So just put in all the categories, and I will streamline them into 18 that make sense to me, and then we'll go from there. How about that? And I'll slack it in the general channel, and we'll go from there. But we have to take a vote. Does everybody like the format?
This is for the very last show.
Yes. Does everybody like, how many people like this format? All right, great. Oh, here's Elizabeth is back, a live
Elizabeth,
show.
welcome back.
Do you want to share with us the experience?
The craziest thing was like 10 minutes before the live shot, a cop car pulled up like right beside us and like stood there and watched us do it as we were doing our live shot, but didn't say anything. Just stood there like beside our poor little volunteer and just watched us. And I was like, are you gonna ask us to leave? Like, are you gonna ask us what we're doing? It felt like an intimidation tactic. I don't know, I didn't appreciate that at all. I'd rather them just like ask, like, hey, what are you doing here? I'd have been like, I'm just a UGA student, like, but that was weird. But other than that, I think it went good. I haven't watched it back yet, obviously. Yeah. Well, I was glad that there were still people trickling out because it made it a little bit more interesting than if it was just barren. Okay.
That was for Ryan, and you held your own. What happened was that Ryan's mic was not up when she tossed to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't hear her at first. So I thought like I couldn't just. I thought the Wi-Fi was out, so I was like, oh God, I hope Tori's gonna tell me to go because I can't hear the show right now. But yeah, and then I was happy with my package. I was happy with my interviews and my thoughts and stuff. So I think it went good.
Okay, guys, I like that idea. I like it actually better than, your idea is better than my 3 ideas. So that's why I wanted it to come from you guys. And because
mine was on.
Yeah, and because you didn't come up with anything, I decided to come up with 3 options because it's, we're getting close. So I'm so happy that you guys came up with something that you're happy and that you'll enjoy doing. And I'll get started on that Google Doc, and you just put in some categories. I'll dress it up, and then you can submit your nominations, and then we'll vote on them. I'm not voting. I love you all equally, so I'm not voting. You guys vote.
So are y'all cool with Monday night we do the ceremony or whatever?
Well, like not this Monday. Right?
No, but like our last, whatever the last,
It's
because our
like-
last show's on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So,
Because some of us have to be up at 6 for election coverage.
No.
These are like next Monday.
The Monday.
whatever our last Monday is.
The Monday before the last show.
I think it's I was about to.
It's the Sojo. Yeah, after that.
Yeah, Monday after the Sojo show is when we have like the ceremony. We could get some footage of that and all that. And then that way Wednesday we would all know what.
Yeah, and you'll have, on Monday, you'll have extra time because your packages will be put together already. So you'll have your packages ready.
Yeah.
So you'll have extra time.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry about all this.
No, it's all above my pay grade. I'm enjoying watching it.
And finally, we've got 2 more minutes. Any closing thoughts, anything
Oh, goodness.
you'd like to share with us?
Nothing that would be terribly inspirational, no, other than just keep up the really good work and remember, any of these little mistakes, just move on from them, not a big deal. Elizabeth, I had complimented you when you were not yet in the room, saying you'd done a really good job out and about. It's good to see you in a place other than Waikiki, too. She was in my Hawaii program over the summer. So no, nothing else. And then just keep in mind, too, in this setting and any other media setting in which you work, this is me, your lawyer, speaking. If you have any legal issues in your reporting, as you are working on stories, gathering information, writing up stories, preparing to put them on air, put them on the web, if you believe that you've got a legal issue that could arise from any of the content, the best time to address that is before airing it and before publishing it, because media lawyers are pretty good at what they do, but we are not magicians, and so there is not always a rabbit that we can pull out of the hat if you publish something that does create liability. So just make sure in the front end, button up any issues that you might have. So that is the last lawyerly disclaimer that I would give you. So other than that, no, great job.
That is extremely valuable because they know me. I'm overly protective about copyright and things like that, unless we are sure, or we reached out to the First Amendment clinic people. Yeah. We try. Maybe something slips, between the cracks that I don't notice, but that's great advice, and it's really important.
I was on a call right before I came down here with a media lawyer in New York, and we were talking about his attitude toward his job. And he's neither a committee of yes nor a committee of no. And he said, what I'm really trying to help my clients do, and I think this is the role of any good media lawyer and any good editor producer, it is trying to help you, the decision maker, evaluate the risk in the way that you produce and air something. And so some news organizations, they don't feel the need to zero out risk. It's a matter of risk tolerance. How much are you willing to take on? And if you do get sued, because you can get sued for anything at any time, the question that I'm always wondering as a media lawyer is, can I effectively defend against it? So I want to know, can I win, or am I standing a pretty good chance of losing this, in which case it could be money that we're losing. So at any rate, engage on stuff like that with your producer, editor, and then if the producer and editor feels like, oh boy, I'm getting out of my depth on this, then that person can engage the lawyer, and the lawyer will swoop in and say, here are your options. You've got 3 doors you can go through. Door number 1 is 0% chance of liability. Door number 2, 50% chance of liability. Door number 3, you are absolutely going to get sued and lose. So at any rate, just kind of keep that in mind. Keep us lawyers in mind, always, always. Yeah, other than that, again, great job. Awesome. You did far better than I would do.